Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for our digital transformation series with IBM. I am Gary Cohen.
I'm Chris Favreau.
We're both with Control Engineering. In this video series, we'll be discussing many topics about digital transformation in manufacturing with IBM experts Surya, Vamsi, Miriyala, and Brett Hillhouse. Brett Hillhouse is the global automotive and aerospace leader for IBM sustainability software. His responsibility includes industry and technology strategy, as well as customer success for automotive companies around the world. His 25 plus years of industry experience includes transformation engagements at global automotive and aerospace OEMs and tier one suppliers. Surya Vamsi Miriyala is a go-to-market product manager for IBM Maximo with more than 7 years of experience in manufacturing, particularly within the automotive and food and beverage sectors. He spearheaded digital transformation projects for leading firms like Caterpillar and Coca-Cola, utilizing IIoT software such as PTC ThingWorx and IBM Maximo to advance connected factories, energy management, and predictive maintenance. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Chris and Gary.
Hey guys, thank you for having us.
Great to have you guys back again. This video, we're going to be talking about technology and providers in digital transformation. Let's start with why might certain technologies like predictive maintenance software, AI-enabled visual inspection, why might those be prioritized in digital transformation initiatives?
I think I'll hit on the AI visual inspection first. It's hard to walk into a lot of factories without seeing a whole bunch of old cameras sitting around or old frameworks for cameras sitting around. The technology's been out there for 20 plus years. The AI enabled part of it's fairly new, and certainly the no code is quite new. And now with Gen AI, it gets even faster and easier. So one thing that you often have to look at is those old fixed inspection areas that they had with fixed cameras. We often have to have a single camera to count every hole if they were counting holes in a stamping operation, for instance. An AI enabled visual inspection can count all the holes from a single camera from a single frame. That is all sorts of different use cases you can start to, be able to utilize to create, not only higher quality, but tying it into the operation of putting together the parts. We have one automotive manufacturer. They have lots of different trim levels, and each one of the trim levels for this particular vehicle, it needs to have its own, trim statement on the car or on the vehicle, the SUV type thing, right? Think of a Jeep, think of anything else along those lines. The only way you're going to know that is by each individual serial number of that vehicle. So the VIN number has to be tied to the trim, and that's going to be tying together the visual inspection to make sure it's the right one. It's tied into the MES system. It looks at it and it makes sure I have the right trim, because you can bet that, especially with Jeep, you got to think through them. Every one of those guys is very, very tied out on what it is that he bought, and that was his trim level. Excuse me. And that's the way they want to look at things. So thinking of tying it into the whole process is key.
Yes. Uh, so the visual inspection and predictive maintenance technologies that you quoted, they are actually highly prioritized because they actually create a substantial and an immediate impact within your manufacturing operations. These technologies directly impact your KPIs. So your day-to-day KPIs, for example, take your operational efficiency, your downtime reduction, your cost reduction, your enhanced quality with visual inspection. So you have control over your processes. And that is where you can also see the benefits within a quicker turnaround time. As Brett quoted, the visual inspection, you need not wait for months. You can turn it around within weeks. So within weeks, you can install the cameras, and within very lesser period of time, you actually start to see the benefit that's actually impacting your KPIs. So because these technologies take a direct hit on the KPIs, they are very quick to adapt, as well as you can also realize the benefits within no time. So that's why they are highly prioritized.
And a lot of these, digital transformation technologies are having such an enormous impact. but it does seem to be kind of a response to the way the market is changing, particularly in the last several years, as everything gets faster and more customized, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think, the way things are changing fast is one of the things that we like on the AI visual technology here. It's really incredible because, you can actually do it from an iPhone, and just being able to move that and have somebody be able to figure out how to place it and do it really quickly. So when a line does change, you're not always building the same thing on it. I can very quickly switch over models and have a different one. You couldn't do that with the old fixed video capabilities that were out there and the old camera setups. So, the speed, the adaptability are really critical here.
Yes. Uh, Talking about manufacturers, particularly when you are changing market is impacting your supply or demand. So your entire value chain get affected. So starting from the raw materials procurement till the shipment of the goods, final goods from the factory, by adopting technologies, you can actually break down the benefits across each areas. So there are ample number of use cases that you can actually, do a POC, realize the value. And the beauty of the technology here in this value chain is everything is integrated. So you need not have separate systems for separate functional areas. So entire systems are integrated, and it's a one-stop shop for your entire value chain. That technology is actually adding value to your day-to-day activities.
I'm sure speed, the speed that we all just talked about, is a factor in this, but what role does technology play in helping organizations adapt to quickly changing market conditions?
So I think one of the things that you look at is it is that flexibility is a big part of it. And, AI certainly helps play a role in that, and being able to do it from, a predictive analysis perspective where I can very quickly, once I've made the change to my line, to my products, that I can very quickly adapt and figure out on the fly where the problems are coming from, where potential bottlenecks in the, not only in the maintenance of the products, but in how it is impacting the quality of the product being developed on the line. So really tying those two together has always been kind of that holy grail of understanding my operational ability to get product out the door, but tying it out to how does that apply and how is it being impacted by, the maintenance of the equipment on the line.
So since Brett talked about the visual inspection part of the piece of the thing, so I would quote some examples on the supply chain optimization where you actually reduce the lead times to your end customer. The amount of time that you take to turn around a product to the customer, suppose consider the aftermarket conditions. So you get ad hoc orders, the machine goes down in the field, you get an immediate aftermarket order. The amount of time that you take to actually meet the customer requirement, who is where the machine is down on the field, will actually impact your brand reputation and the trust that they place on you. So in order to achieve that, you actually need technology in your value chain to turn around those orders quickly by, by eliminating the waste in your processes, by process automation, reducing the process times. So this is how your entire supply chain will be impacted when you actually embrace technology and with adapting market conditions. So there'll be a lot of demand fluctuating cycles. How can you actually meet higher demand, and how can you actually, when the demand is low, there is no problem. When the demand is high, you need to utilize your machine to the fullest, and that happens only when you eliminate the losses that you're currently incurring in your assets.
Digital transformation, of course, has a tremendous amount of potential, and much of it is being realized. But where is digital transformation currently falling short, and how do these shortcomings affect adoption for companies that might be considering this or are using it currently?
I think one of the things that we're going through within our own portfolio is certainly moving to Gen AI and really applying that across our portfolio here. We had lots of algorithms we'd created. We've done lots of training. Boy, this changes things overnight, though. And, one of the things that is going to continue to be interesting here is we're not always sure where the shortcomings on Gen AI are today. There's this curve that kind of goes along the outside where some of the use cases don't always, line up to the ability of these large language models. So we're learning that, and we don't know where it's going to be in 6 months, much less 5 years from now. So there's a little unknown there that I think has, I think it gets back to some of the other points, though, that we were both making about trying things out. I mean, that's what we're having to do with our clients is really understanding where it applies, how it can apply, and how quickly we can do it. So I wish there was a little more, certainty in all of that, but and there certainly are in some use cases, but that's an interesting and an area that's going to continue to evolve for us.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Gen AI is something, which is currently trending in the market. So there are actually a lot of use cases which you can try, but it is still new in the market. So people might not be so quick in adopting that. So as I would say, apart from Gen AI, there are large language models which are actually coming up, like time series models. There is a lot of innovation happening in these areas. So you need to take some time and then do a POC, then realize the benefit, and then actually get into the market with this kind of solutions so that they can actually see the value that it will add into the existing operations or entire value chain, I would call. And that would actually help in increasing the adoption rate.
Terrific. One thing we've talked about a lot in this series is the difference between adoption of digital transformation from large businesses compared to small and medium-sized businesses. Have you noticed a difference in technology adoption between the two? And is there a way to kind of bridge that gap?
Well, I'll hit on the Gen AI thing again. It certainly is democratizing the use of the AI. I mean, in the past, some of these operations really needed, you know, strong professionals who understood the AI technology, and the large language models are really, in many cases, are able to, be able to be used much more simply and by simple chat interfaces and things like that. So there's certainly some help there. It's also just from the simple chat bots. How do I do my job? How do I use this piece of software? How does Maximo work? So just some of those simple things are ones that are making it, much more effective at both small and medium and large businesses. And I think the other thing on the small side is, you know, all these technologies are great. You've got to look at your own use cases and where the benefits are going to come from. What is your problem? Is it speed to market? Is it quality? Understanding where and why to apply, predictive analytics to, down to, the time series data is the issue, and I need to be able to figure out how to manage that better. Those are all valid, but it's totally dependent upon your use case.
Yeah, apart from that, apart from the Gen AI, some other good tools are, I would quote an example of, low code, no code, where people are, any SMB can actually configure a model that requires no data scientist or any
Right.
data science experience. People can straight away configure a model, put it in the line, and they can actually see the results coming out straight away. So apart from that, there is also this Maximo Assist, which we have, which is a classic use case where, for example, take in an SMB, there is a breakdown. In a mass production environment, you cannot keep the line down and go search for the manuals, how to figure out how to troubleshoot this issue. That is where adopting these technologies within the SMB will actually help you to quickly figure out, troubleshoot it, and keep the line up and running. These are some classic examples that will actually help through technology adoption in an SMB environment.
But thank you very much, Brett and Surya, for your insights today. That was great information. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, Control Eng TV, which has additional interviews with thought leaders and experts. You also can find a link to our control engineering website for additional content on digital transformation and other topics. I'm Chris Favreau.
I'm Gary Cohen.
Thanks for watching this video.